Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Alodia and I'll be discussing the third movement of Sonata in B-flat major K.333 by Mozart, Allegretto Grazioso, as I had discussed the first movement, Allegro, in my previous video. Hope you enjoy! Form. As you know, this sonata is in three movements: Allegro, Andante cantabile, and Allegretto Grazioso. The first two movements are in sonata form, while the finale in sonata rondo form. Structure. Exposition. The first subject, played in tonic, consists of an 8-bar sentence ending with a perfect tonic cadence where the sentence is repeated with slight variation. The transitions came up with a new melody still in the key of tonic. Its second 2-bar section is in 3 sequence with the first, and the following phrase also start with a similar opening figure, commencing 1 degree higher each. The transition section then modulates to its dominant key, F major. Moving forward to the second subject in F major. The opening phrase of the second subject consists entirely of repetition of the opening motif, each time slightly varied. Bar 31 is converted into 2 bars, bar 34 and bar 35, with the length of each is 2 chord being doubled. These few bars act as a link between the second subject and the re-entry of the principal subject. The notes start as the tonic in the key of F major and ends as the dominant in B flat major, more likely in the chord of the dominant 7 of B flat major. The first subject, second entry. Episode. Commencing like the previous transition, afterwards modulate to G minor, then to the new melody in E flat major. This section used mostly long short pattern or dotted quaver with semiquaver pattern. While expecting the repetition of the tonic chord like bar 89, we have instead a modulation to C minor, in which also a sudden return to the opening phrase of the first subject. Then we appear in the key of B flat, starting in the major, then changing into the minor mode, a standard while modulating through G flat minor, E flat minor, then back to the key of B flat minor. Repetition of the early link, extended, and instead of dominant 7 notes of B flat major, is played chromatically ascending. Naturally will come the third entry of the recapitulation. In the recapitulation, the transition is much lengthened with more variation, taking materials from the exposition then varying. The second subject played in the key of tonic, instead of its dominant F key as the exposition, and also lengthened and varied. The recapitulation link is in tonic key, and forms a connecting link between the recapitulation and the cadenza in tempo. The introduction of a cadenza into a pianoforte sonata is unusual. The cadenza is characteristic of a concerto in which for a long time it formed an essential feature. It was usually marked to be interpolated, as in this instance after the recapitulation and after a pause on the chord of the second inversion. This cadenza refers principally to the opening motif of the principal subject and to the figures from the link, which the passage is introduced in its entirety bar 179 to bar 183. It ends with brilliant scales passage which leads to the fourth entry of the principal subject. This is a partial fourth entry of the principal subject which merged into the coda. The coda commences with a fragment of the second subject and concludes with several bars reminiscent of the principal subject. Conclusion. The third movement, the Sonata Rondo, have many similarities compared with the first, by chord pattern and music phrases. Starting simple but playful, repeated theme then slowly softens and came up with more complex melody, building up the hit throughout the pieces and ending the piece with the final repeat of the first theme with accompaniment variation. I hope this video can give you more insight of the third movement of this sonata K.333. I will analyze the second movement Andante cantabile of this sonata in my next video. You can see my analysis of the first movement in the link below, as well as my performance. See you on the next video. Bye!